The Grand Theft Auto franchise is one of the biggest in gaming history, with GTA 5 being the second best-selling video game in existence, and other massive successes in GTA 4, Vice City, and San Andreas. But one game that is always forgotten about nowadays is Grand Theft Auto 3. This was the first iteration in the series that was 3D, and in return, the franchise blew up in popularity. From the 2 million sales of GTA 2, all the way jumping to 17.5 million sales for GTA 3. This was one of the best-selling games of the year when it was released in 2001, and critics absolutely adored it, with it becoming a global success. It revolutionized the gaming industry by pioneering the 3D open world genre, and I played it for the very first time this year. This is actually my first ever experience with the GTA franchise, which is kinda absurd to say, but I gotta get through some of these games before GTA 6 comes out, but that'll probably get delayed again. Before we get into things though, if you do enjoy this video, it would mean a lot if you could like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. With that being said, let's get right into it. GTA 3, as I was stating in my intro, was the title that took 3D open worlds to the next level. In that time and place back in 2001, what this game did was not normal. You didn't have titles where you could simply roam the world without having to complete the objectives or main missions. The freedom Rockstar were able to give players here was basically never seen before, besides Ocarina of Time. This became the blueprint for how companies engaged with creating open world experiences from there on out. Truly, the game just let you do whatever you wanted to, in the scope of what the game could do. As following the opening of the title, after you escape being arrested, you can just drive around and mess about. Sure, you get directed and have to go to Luigi's, but after that first mission, yeah, the game doesn't really tell you to do anything. You're open to driving around as you please. And playing this in 2026, I enjoyed the open world. Yes, I am playing the definitive edition, please don't judge me. I'm gonna say this a lot throughout this video, but it's not aged the best in a lot of ways. It really is lacking in basically every category when comparing it to modern standards. But still, with that acknowledgement, I couldn't help but enjoy going around Liberty City. It does weirdly feel like an old LEGO game for some reason to me though. The bonus room from LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, that's the energy this open world gave me initially, which I honestly didn't mind. It felt nostalgic even though I never played this. And one of the most impressive aspects of GTA 3's Liberty City is that it felt alive. I know I said this game didn't age well, but in terms of its immersion, that was not an issue. This has aged like fine wine. It's scary how good it is. From all the NPCs walking around, massive fights breaking out, I'm out here bobbing and weaving trying not to get shot. We have fire trucks show up to put out fires, paramedics trying to revive people. These things respond to what you do in the world. And the best example of this are all the gangs scattered across Liberty City. By the end of the game, it felt like the entire city wanted me dead. And rightly so. I would see inter-gang fights, I would herd one of these groups on a mission and now they're all hostile to me. The world progressed with you as you played the game and did main quests. This open world felt more alive compared to some games that come out now. There's a 25-year difference. That is scary that I can feel this way. If I'm impressed by this fact now, I can't even begin to imagine the feeling playing this game back in 2001 when it came out. It genuinely must have felt like real life. Liberty City ultimately just had this charm about it. Maybe it is just that early 2000s feel, but it grabbed me. Driving around while it's raining, listening to the radio, or walking around briefly taking in the sights, I couldn't help but enjoy it. The open world is definitely the best aspect of GTA 3 in my opinion. Now moving on from the open world, let's talk about the gameplay and mission structure. This is probably where GTA 3 shows its age the most. Basically all of it is bad, but in some aspects it's decent. I wasn't really too sure what the gameplay loop of this title was going to look like, and apparently it's just a driving simulator. From the 15-ish hours I played of this game, I probably spent 13 of them driving around. It was the only kind of mission that you would get. From escorts, taking down a car, leading police away, timed objectives, all of it besides a few focused on driving. And for how much you do drive, I actually didn't hate it. The driving worked pretty well, and it had to since it took up 90% of your playing time. But I was surprised because so many games even now, I avoid driving because I don't think titles do it well. But the mechanics worked here, and for the most part, it didn't feel that janky. This might just come down to me sucking at the game, but especially when you drove the fast cars, the slightest touch would send me flying. Oh my gosh, I would barely scrape this car next to me, and I'd end up flipped over soaring into a building. It definitely got annoying, even more so because I felt like all these other cars on the road were actually trying to end my life. Did I follow a single traffic law in that game? No, but it didn't seem like these other cars were either. My blood would be boiling during some of those quests. The driving is definitely the focus of this title, and for how much it's used, it's not that bad. But the combat? Yeah, that sucks. I did not have fun fighting in this game, and luckily there wasn't too much of it. The gunplay was just not that good. Sometimes the camera would be weird, the locking onto enemies would screw me up and I would die. It just wasn't a good time. That portion has definitely aged horrifically, but some of the weapons were decent. Like the sniper worked well, and I would actually use it a lot so I wouldn't have to get close to the enemies. The gunplay was simply not good, but it was never difficult. But to get into the mission structure here for GTA 3, yeah, that stuff is really bad too. Especially compared to what we expect today, these are some of the most repetitive missions I've ever experienced in a game before. Every single objective you are given follows like the same 3 kinds of missions, and they all involve you driving around. And so many of these quests were timed, oh my gosh. I would be sweating bullets during some of these time crunches. It was intense. Like there was this one mission where I had to go and pick up these vehicles and bring them back with no damage done to them. I actually wanted to end my life. That quest took me so many tries, and by the end, you've learned the map and roads so well, I'm here making these crazy shortcuts, ignoring the trail the minimap wants me to follow so I can save time, or the missions where cars or cops are chasing and hitting you. I never hated anything more in my entire life. These dudes were relentless, genuine leeches that just wouldn't let go of you. Grand Theft Auto 3 definitely got on my nerves more than a few times here and there. But for all the repetitiveness, there were a few gems sprinkled throughout, but that would be like maybe 4 or 5 missions out of the 50-ish main story quests. Overall, the gameplay and missions are weak, to be honest. They have aged really bad, besides the driving, but even that got frustrating at times. These things remind you it was made in 2001. But the last topic I want to briefly discuss here is the story. And yeah, it's non-existent. There is a plot here, but it's so vaguely explained and clearly not the focus here. And this is one of the biggest reasons I don't think GTA 3 is that good of a game, especially when it's something as old as this. Something that will never age poorly is a good story. Some of my favorite titles that came out around this time were Morrowind and Knights of the Old Republic. These both have exceptional storylines, but they also have similar issues to GTA 3, where the combat isn't that good. But they have amazing quests and deep worlds and narratives. Those will never age badly. But to get into the story for this game, the premise with GTA 3 is a rise of power plotline. You play as a silent protagonist named Claude. During the opening of the game, you are betrayed by your girlfriend and end up getting arrested, but you escape. This is where the story kicks off as you make your way up through the underworld's ranks. From the Mafia, the Yakuza, Donald Love, you work with many groups of people while climbing the ranks. And honestly, I think the funniest and most enjoyable aspect for me from this narrative is that we have no loyalty whatsoever. Everyone you work for, you basically end up killing at different points in the story. Like when you take out Kenji pretending to be the Colombian cartel, and then you continue to work with his sister afterwards. Bro, you sit here watching her beat members of that gang thinking they were the ones who did it, and we're just stood there fully knowing it was us? This man Claude had something wrong with him. He would betray anyone at any point for some money. It got to the point that it was comedic. But you do help all these different groups out and make your way up. And eventually you confront your girlfriend from the start of the game and are able to take her out by blowing her up with a rocket launcher while she's on a plane. And the game ends off with you saving Maria, and as she's talking, a gunshot goes off and the game ends. Who knows if she's alive or not? We'll never know, but I wouldn't be surprised if Claude just took her out. I'll be honest, this story was so nothing to me that I had no reaction to the game ending. I was just happy to finish that annoying final level. Oh my gosh, that sucked. But the story is definitely the weakest part of this game, and was clearly not a focus from Rockstar. Overall, Grand Theft Auto 3 was a monumental release in the history of gaming, by pioneering an entire genre, arguably the most popular style of game out there. It was one of the biggest successes, and I can clearly see why. Yes, it has aged really badly with rough gameplay, a non-existent story, boring characters. There's a lot left to be desired here. But even still, I had a fun time playing it for the first time in 2026. I can't even begin to imagine the enjoyment from people getting this 25 years ago in 2001. My final rating of this game might seem harsh, but I give it a 5.5 out of 10. I can fully understand the reason behind its popularity, but nowadays it just doesn't reach the standards that it needs to. But this might be the most enjoyable 5.5 out of 10 game I've ever played in my life. I did really have fun with it. And I can't wait to play some of the other Grand Theft Auto games throughout this year. If you guys did make it to the end of today's video, thank you so much for watching. Your support means the absolute world to me. If you did enjoy today's video, it would mean a lot if you could like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. Again, thank you guys so much for your support. I will see you in the next video, and God bless.